So up next, we have the CSR goddess. Of course, Mariam loves CSR, and she likes to fight me about CSR. And somehow, last week rather, she wasn't here, so there was no fighting going on. Mariam, what's up?
Commentary screen reader, or the Chinese screen reader, has gotten really popular among blinds and visually impaired recently. And here, on the Blind Android Users podcast, we will have a series of episodes in which we will talk about how to use the screen reader and how to get the best out of it. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of CSR's Basics. In this episode we're going to be talking about two important things. The first one is CSR and battery optimization. And the second thing we'll be going over how to back your settings up in CSR and how to restore them, which is the main part. Actually, the thing about optimization and battery wasn't planned at all, but I decided to talk about it because over the last week, I would say, I've been having a problem with CSR. That actually definitely involves battery optimization and plugins and CSR and battery optimization systematic mechanisms. So I decided to talk about it because it's really important. We have gone over that briefly when we were setting CSR up, but it never crossed my mind the problem that I had with CSR lately. So I thought, I would definitely explain it more and let you all know what this is exactly. So the problem mainly was the fact that after locking my screen for 2 minutes, even more so, CSR started crashing when I unlocked my screen every single time, which was a pain, honestly, because I can definitely endure that, especially if I want to make an urgent quick call to someone or do something pretty urgent. Like it used to take 20 seconds for the system to restart CSR again, and the system giving me this message that CSR keeps stopping. Do I want to wait or close the app? It was kind of weird. So I started questioning it, and I was kind of surprised that this happened because it never happened to me when I was using CSR, other than when I started using it back in 2019 or so. So I started looking into it. So I asked on the Telegram group, the official Telegram group for CSR, and most of them were talking about battery optimization and how I have to turn that off for CSR. So there's a permission when you install CSR for the first time, or when you install CSR in general. It asks you to have the permission granted to run in the background and for the battery optimization to ignore it and, stuff like that, which is really crucial for you to turn this on, because if you didn't grant this permission for G-shows to run in the background, the screen reader would be often killed by the battery optimization mechanisms, which is definitely bad. So I was pretty sure that I turned that off. I granted this permission. So I was kind of thinking about it. I was confused. What's wrong? So I went into power management settings and CSR settings, which I didn't think that would be a solution. There was a setting there called prevent the screen reader to be killed off by the battery optimization mechanisms. That was a checkbox that was unchecked. So I checked it, and it made the crashes less, but it still happened, which made me even more interested than before, because I'm a person who not only wants to solve the problem temporarily or solve it just for good, but I want to know the reason behind the problem or the issue. So it made me even more interested to look into it more and search more, because it still happened even if it's less than before. So I asked a question on Android for Blinds group, which is the most popular and famous community for Android users in the Arab world, and even further, but for the Arabic community for the most part. And the members there were definitely helpful. One of the members was gracious enough to tell me that there is a plugin that causes a problem and kills off the screen reader, apparently, which is the auto skip ad plugin. We actually have covered that briefly when we were talking about how to download additional resources and stuff. This plugin waits until the 5 seconds of the ad on YouTube, are over, and automatically skips the ad. So I was kind of surprised, because I definitely started using this plugin or extension, I would say, 2 days before just before the problem happened. So I decided to turn it off and see what happens. And actually, after turning it off, it was surprising and shocking to see that this worked, and this problem literally didn't happen at all. And I could recall too that when this plugin was working, after turning the power management thing on, CSR, even if it became less, it was crashing, but it became less. CSR used to restart every 24 hours precisely, which was kind of odd too. And strange enough, I tried different versions of CSR. I switched between the international and the the local. And also, strange enough, this problem happened less with the local one, which was kind of confronting. I thought that the problem was with the international, definitely before I found out about the plugin thing, but it was still kind of strange. So obviously, I just wanted to let you all know that first, granting this permission is really important, and if you face this problem without installing the plugin, the skip out plugin, remember to turn on the prevent the screen reader from being killed off by the battery optimization mechanisms. I will show you how to do it right now, because you might not, because it's kind of deep into the settings. So I will open program settings.
Main menu. Extensions. Voice assist. Program settings. Commentaries. Email 9. General settings.
I'll go into advanced settings.
Add X2. Advanced setting. Advanced settings.
This is setting.
Backup. Other settings. Menu custom. Power management settings.
This one.
Power management settings.
It only has 2 options.
Prevent killing the screen reader checkbox checked. It is recommended to check this option if the screen reader is often killed by the system battery optimization mechanisms.
So as you can tell, it's actually designed for that. So turn it on if you're having problems with the screen reader being killed off. There's also another important setting here if you have problems with CSR draining your battery.
Power saving mode checkbox unchecked. It is recommended to check this option when the standby power consumption is too high.
So this one is, you can turn it on instead of turning the power mode on, or the power saver on, because if you do so, it will it will cause issues to the screen reader. So better turn this on if you start draining your battery, and it's gonna, work less. It's gonna drain your battery less. So now we're going to be talking about backing up your settings. I actually mentioned that briefly, I think, when we were talking about like in the first couple episodes or so, but we didn't go into details about it because honestly, I haven't had experimented with it or messed with it yet, but now I did. I'm gonna tell you that it's a really important setting, so useful for you, because it definitely takes less time, because you don't need to, do all your settings all over again, and just especially because CSR is huge. Let's admit that. I gotta admit that CSR is huge and has a lot of settings when it comes to menus, menu customization, navigation settings, gestures, and all that. So it's kind of good to have backing up settings, because CSR, as customizable as it is, it's also kind of a pain to set your settings every time all over again. So we'll be talking about how to back up. First of all, you have to know that when you back your settings up, you only back settings. Meaning that if you have sound themes, gesture schemes, like keyboard schemes or whatever they call them, plugins, extensions, tools, all that, they're not backed up by the default normal backup. And what I mean by default normal backup is you could definitely back them up from another place, which we will be going over today too. But there's definitely a couple solutions for that. You could back them up from the resource manager, which we'll be talking about also, or you could just, copy the CSR folder and save it somewhere, and you won't find any problems with that at all. So let's see how to back things up. Let's go and check it out. So it's also in the advanced settings.
Back button.
So we will go back one step.
Advanced recents button. Backup and restore.
Back up and restore. From here, you would back up your settings or you restore them.
Backup and restore. Restore settings. Backup settings.
So here it is.
Backup settings. Selecting this option lets you create a full backup of your current settings. Please note that this option will overwrite your current backup. Backup settings. Selecting this option lets you create a full backup of your current settings. Please note that this option will overwrite your current backup.
So as you can see, it's like a backup to back up all your settings. And if you have another backup, former one, it's gonna overwrite it.
Cancel button. OK button. Backup completed. The backup has been completed. The requested data have been successfully saved to the appropriate folder. OK button.
So the backup has been completed successfully. What is the appropriate folder that's talking about? The appropriate folder is the official folder for CSR. You're gonna find it under your internal storage. It's actually written in Chinese. So if you're using a TCS engine that supports Chinese, it's gonna be pronounced. If you're not, it will just be like, it won't pronounce it. But it's, most of the times down, if you're using like the order of your file manager is sorted by name, so it's gonna be down probably the last item there. So let's go into my file manager. I'll be using the Google file manager and see how can we locate the backup and how what you can do with it and how you can exactly identify the folder, because it's kind of different.
Home button. One UI home. One full and folder. Google. 87 full. Keep notes. Files. Files. Check. Clean. Show collection. Show collect favorites. Save fold. Storage. Internal. Internals. Download 5 days ago.
I'm gonna scroll.
Voice recorder 9. Show 3 days ago. Show 3 days ago.
As you can see, it doesn't tell the name of the folder, the title of it, but it says only what is the last time it was modified. So let's go into that.
Internal storage.
The backup folder is also written in Chinese. So you might find different folders that are in Chinese. So how you can identify that? Let's go and see.
Plugins 2 day. Resources. Show. Sound 6. Show. Tools 6. Show 6 days ago. Show 6 days ago. Show file 4 days ago. Show 3 days ago. Show. .zip. 20. Show. Internal storage. Showing inlet. Internal nav. Show file. .zip. 23.28
Obviously,
kilobytes
this
from
is-
4 days ago.
This is a file. It's not a folder.
Show 3 days ago.
So I will go into every folder that's in Chinese because I want you to identify which one of them exactly is the one.
Internal storage. Selected. There's nothing here.
As you can tell, there's nothing here, so this is not the backup folder.
Back button. 3 days ago. Show. .zip. Show 4 days ago. Internal show file log 202. Show file crash 20. Show file actions
This is
button.
the log folder, which the logs are saved into. And as you can tell, there are multiple crashes because this is the log, and I told you I've been having crashes with Screen Reader.
Back button. Internal
So,
storage.
Actually, this is not the folder we're looking for.
Show file action 3 days ago. Show 4 days ago. Show 6 days ago. Internal show file .dat 9.68 show file .dat show file action .dat selected .dat 211 kilobytes from 3 minutes ago. .dat 58B from 3 minutes ago.
So as you can tell, this is the backup folder because it's 3 minutes ago and we've just created a backup 3 minutes ago, right? So this is the folder. You're gonna find like files that are in Chinese too, .dat.
Show .dat 9.68 kilobytes from 3 minutes ago. Show navigate up button.
So it's a folder, probably contains up to 4 files at most, but it has all the settings for the screen reader, which is pretty good. So now you could take this folder, save it somewhere, and repaste it when you actually if you want to reinstall the screen reader, you want to reset it, you want to reset your phone, you change your phone or something like that. Now you could also back up to the cloud, but this is only available if you have the premium subscription, which is kind of fair because it's like you are actually buying a cloud to save your files on. It's pretty much the same thing because on the cloud you could back up your settings, you could back up your sound themes, your clipboard history if you want to, even your timer labels, your custom labels, like pretty much everything. So it's pretty good. But be aware that if you want to restore your backup, which we will definitely know how to do it right now, make sure to do that after you give the screen reader the storage permission, because if you don't, I made this mistake and I was like, oh my god, why can't I restore my backup? Why it doesn't let me do so? And then I found out that I didn't give CSR the permission for the storage because my things were saved into my internal storage and I didn't give CSR permission. I didn't grant the permission for CSR to access my storage. And then after I accessed it, I granted access, I definitely was able to restore my settings. So
Recents button. 1 commentary screen reader. Backup and restore. Restore settings.
you have the restore settings.
Restore settings. Select restore settings. Selecting this option lets you restore settings from a previously created backup. Please note that this option will overwrite your current settings. Cancel the OK button.
If you hit OK, it's gonna restore the backup that you have.
Cancel button.
Which is pretty good. So now, if you want to back your stuff up, like your plugins, your like everything that you have, what I do, like personally, I just copy the whole folder and put it somewhere, like on my computer or on my external SD card or somewhere else, if I want to like reset the screen reader to the default settings, or I want to clean up, or I want to like reset my phone like I did recently. And I just put it in there after like installing the screen reader, or even before so it will have like my downloads or my extensions, my custom gesture stuff, my per app gestures and everything. But there's another thing that you could do.
Back button. Advanced settings. Commentary text editor.
You would go into
Resource manager.
Resource Manager.
Resource manager. Scan for resources button. Gesture scheme manager.
You would have literally every single thing here in a manager. So
Extension manager. Tools manager. Sound scheme manager.
let's
Custom label manager. Clipboard history. Favorites manager. Timer manager. Hot scheme manager. Backup manager. Resource manager. Scan for resources. Gesture scheme manager.
Okay, let's go into Gesture Scheme Manager.
Gesture scheme. Custom unchecked. Reader unchecked. YouTube unchecked.
Here you have the per app, the custom gesture scheme.
Reader unchecked. YouTube music on. Delete button. YouTube music unchecked.
So there are checkboxes. You could
Delete button. YouTube checked. Delete button. Select all button. Backup button.
backup. So you have delete, backup, and yeah, I mean that's where you could do it. It's pretty easy, pretty flexible. It does the same thing, it saves in the same folder. So that's the way to do the backup. That's the way to restore them. It's pretty easy. I'm also going to show you how to do it on the cloud.
Back button.
But be aware that to back up things on the cloud, you definitely should be logged in. You should have an account. And actually, you should be a premium subscriber. So if you are, you definitely have an account.
Favorites manager. Timer manager. Back button. Add operations. Menu. Other setting. Backup and cloud backup and restore.
There you go.
Cloud backup settings. Restore setting. Backup restores. Back operation completed. Operation completed. OK button.
Operation completed. So it backed up literally everything to the cloud.
Cloud backup and restore. Backup everything. Restore everything. Back restore settings. Backup cloud backup back restore cloud backup and restore.
There's backup everything.
Backup everything.
It means that's gonna literally back everything up, like the sound themes, the plugins, everything. So it's pretty good. If you want to do it, you could definitely do so. And once you log in into your account, your G-Show account, you can back things up or restore things pretty easily. So that's how to do it. And actually, this backup thing was upon a request of one of our listeners, which is definitely welcome. If you have any requests or anything that you want me to demonstrate, feel free to, because even if I don't know how to do it, I take it seriously and I look into it and I research, and I benefit from that, and you definitely are. I hope you do benefit too, because I do it with passion. I love learning about new things. So definitely, if you have any questions or requests, feel free to reach me out, whether through our Telegram group, Blind Android Users, or contact us at blindandroidusers.com, which is the official email address. And I would definitely be honored and happy to reply to you all and demonstrate all the things you want. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do actually have any questions, do feel free to reach out to me or to the whole podcast at contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And I hope you enjoyed this one. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Today's episode of CSR is kind of different because we talked about battery optimization and how the screen reader sometimes might often get killed off. So it's one of the most important episodes. We should have done it in the beginning, but this problem didn't happen to me. But now, it did.
Well, great. And we do have that thing from Mariam, so pay attention if you want to get to know more about CSR and all of that. And of course, we have a lot of CSR episodes, especially on our previous episodes and also on our YouTube channel. I think we probably have a dedicated playlist for CSR. You want to check that out. We've got 5 or 6 of those up there already.
And just for Mariam, we also have the CSR forum page on our discussion boards.
So in other words, if
thank you, Doug. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, now you owe Doug some, I don't know, maybe some Egyptian food. Doug, you like Egyptian food?
Egyptian food's yummy.
Well, I've had some Algerian food. I think it was the couscous.
Oh, yummy.
I love it.
Oh, couscous, it's so good. We actually have that. But did you have it with milk and sugar or with soup?
No. I think it was meat. You know me.
Oh,
Warren loves his meat.
I do love my meat. So went to this Algerian restaurant and I had some couscous there. It's really good. And actually, we even bought it from the store. You could buy it from the store, and we brought it home and did some of that cooking. Yeah. So maybe we're not turning this podcast into a cooking show, which is also a good thing because you want to be eating while you listen to our podcast.
We might do a cooking episode, though.
This segment is sponsored by Nigerian Foods.
No, it's Algerian.
Yeah,
Algerian, Austin. Yeah.
So thanks to Algerian Foods for sponsoring this episode of the Blind Android Users podcast. Thank you, Austin. Oh my goodness.